So you think your husband's going to join in?
I don't know. I was trying to convince him, but I don't know. No, he's doing the head shaking.
The head shake.
Yeah.
I see.
Hard pass. Not even going to say a word in the room.
No. It's recording. Can't talk. Can't talk. Welcome to Crime Crazy, the weekly true crime podcast with Aaron Pleim
And Diana Seacon,
where we prove
that we know nothing about our legal system.
but we're still crazy for a good true crime story.
Hello.
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 I feel like I just saw you.
I know. It was like 4 days ago.
Oh, God, it's been too long.
Because you live here now.
I know.
Hey!
I got a very Minnesota mug today.
You did. It's very cute.
Very Minnesota. While you were researching today, did you learn, or for today, I guess I should say, you probably researched like 6 weeks ago and had it all typed up and everything else. I can see it's in color. It's got a tab. It's all, yeah. Did you learn anything?
I did.
What did you learn? I know, right? That is the rule.
So my favorite thing that I learned this week is that in Florida, there is a manatee jail, but it's for people.
Okay. So you're going to need to explain because is it like manatee jail? Like it might be Minnetonka jail, but this one is manatee jail?
Yeah. So there's a Manatee County in Florida. And so there's a Manatee County jail. But the thing, like, it wasn't related to what I was doing. It was just something I flashed on, but I'm sure the word county wasn't in there.
It's just manatee
sure
jail.
It was just manatee jail. And I was like, I need to know more about this internet.
Right. Manatee jail.
Yeah.
It's where you go to be tortured by manatees.
Or snuggled.
Well, snuggled to death.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair if you went there to be snuggled by manatees. Do you know, I know something about manatees. Apparently, like, one of the most harmful things that people do to them is try to ride them. And you can, like, seriously hurt them, and it's bad, and they get hit by boats, and all sorts of horrible things happen. I didn't realize anyone would actually try to ride a manatee.
No, but now I kind of wanna.
Right? Well, thanks for giving me that idea.
Now someday
I'm gonna be unfulfilled.
Someday I'm going to be in the position where I'm near a manatee, and I'm just going to look at it and be like, I'd ride you, but it'd hurt you.
Right, but I'm not supposed to. I heard that was damaging.
Right. I don't want to damage you.
Well, because, like, you don't want to ride a dolphin. Those things are mean. So, Diana, do you have any good stories for us today?
I do.
I am so excited.
Are you ready?
I am, because you do that evil thing that, like, Jordan and I used to always do to each other. Like, oh, I found the best story and I can't tell you anything about it, but I told David and he laughed and blah, blah, blah. Great. Now I got to wait.
I know. It's the worst.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. So, my main theme this week, as you can see in the headline.
Wait, what did it say?
People do crazy shit when it's hot.
Oh, that is true.
So, in that vein, Kimberly Dunn lost her cool when her soon-to-be ex-husband came to retrieve the air conditioning unit that she was trying to sell on Facebook. Now, I read a few different articles on this, but I couldn't find the original arrest report. And some of the articles said that she was selling the air conditioner on Facebook, and some of them said that he was coming to get it so that he could sell it on Facebook.
Okay.
But one way or the other, he was mad about an air conditioning in Facebook.
Got it. Check.
So he came to get it. So whatever way that went, the ex, who was unnamed, I
feel like that would be pretty easy to figure out, though, since we know her name.
And like her address and everything.
Right,
and have a picture of her all over the internet.
Yeah,
Anyway, so the ex, who was unnamed, came to her home with his brother to pick up the air conditioner.
Okay.
And when they tried to unhook it, she sat on it to prevent them from taking it.
Was it like, it must have been a window unit?
It must have been a window unit. The way they described it, it was like mounted. So it must have been a window unit, but
she was
downstairs.
Sitting on it in the window?
She looks like she's like small, like petite.
Well, they also have those ones that are kind of big, and they have the pipes, and you can put the pipe up through the ceiling or whatever.
They weren't real clear.
I had one of those in my office, but unfortunately, like the hot air return or whatever, it was still in my office. So it just like circulated the same air. It was a school. They're not real bright there.
Yeah. So anyway, she is lithe enough to climb up on it and was sitting on it. Mm-hmm. So the ex was trying to remove her, and she pulled out a pink stun gun.
Nice.
And attempted to electrocute him.
Just attempted.
Pink.
I like pink. I like that detail. I've seen like pink pepper spray.
It's like
stuff.
the cutest little stun gun.
Right. You almost don't feel threatened.
Right. Apparently he did feel threatened because he smacked her in the head and she fell to the ground.
Nice.
As she fell off the air conditioner, she dropped a handgun. And in what I can only imagine it was like ninja moves, she got up off the ground, she grabbed the gun.
Oh my God.
And then she shot the ex in the balls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was the gun pink?
Unclear.
Oh, so disappointing.
So the ex is...
I mean, I guess good for her for not going straight for the gun. At the same time, like, she was good to use the gun.
Well, she had both of them on her person.
Right.
And I didn't get the impression that he had, like, called ahead.
She just was waiting.
Maybe?
That is just what she does when she is walking around the house. She's got her stun gun in one holster and her real gun in the other.
As you do.
Right.
I've apparently been wandering around my house wrong.
Me too. Wait.
The ex's brother shoved her to the ground, screamed, "You shot my brother," and then choked her until she passed out.
Holy shit.
And then he took the ex to the hospital.
I mean, I think you could probably just disarm her and take the ex to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the choking was really a
I don't know that
necessary
it was
step.
super necessary.
He could be bleeding out like crazy.
She does seem pretty scrappy. So he must not have been in too bad of a shape because he was thinking pretty clearly for a guy who'd just gotten shot in the nuts.
Castrated. No? Not that bad.
No. He also grabbed the gun that shot him and brought it with him to the hospital.
Okay. I mean, that's a good thing to do-ish.
I don't know what the purpose is other than to, was he
Keep
worried
it
about
away.
also being shot in the ass, which I think is a legitimate fear at that
I
point.
think it should be out of the house. She obviously has proven that she is not responsible enough for gun ownership.
And like bad aim.
I don't know. I thought that was intentional.
Apparently not.
Oh.
She was arrested later that day. Mm-hmm. She told the deputies that she didn't mean to shoot the ex, just to scare him.
Oh, that's really bad aim then.
Super bad.
I was aiming for between his legs and I just went too high.
But then, as you can imagine, she was charged with aggravated battery.
Yes.
But she failed to appear for her court appearance relating to this charge, which was last month.
Oh. You always find really recent ones lately.
Yeah, this was October that the ball shooting happened.
Nice.
So she was arrested and booked into Columbia County Jail on June 14th of this year with an additional contempt of court charge for her trouble. She's also been charged with grand larceny, but it's unclear whether that is from the same incident or something new. But I was thinking if it was true that it was his air conditioner and he was coming to retrieve it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
she
that's
was
where
trying to keep him from getting it.
Right. But like nobody really knew whether that was connected or not.
Yeah.
So she's in jail. She's being held without bond.
Yeah, because you didn't show up, so
Yeah.
now you are.
Now you're gonna.
Shot a dude.
Now you're gonna. The ex has made a full recovery.
That is good.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how we define full recovery.
That was all I could find out. So I enjoyed this story. I had fun researching it. But the best part of this...
She likes to research about balls.
No. The best part of this is I was having fun with it. And I go to, like, I'm talking to my husband. And I said, yeah, the story I'm researching for this week is pretty fun. This woman...
for the girl and the brother, not so much that...
You know, for me. But this woman, like, her ex came to repo their air conditioner, and so she shot him in the balls. And he thinks about that for a minute, and he nods. Like, that's a reasonable thing to do.
I mean, she does live in Florida.
He didn't know that yet, though.
Oh.
So he nods, and he says, well, she must have really wanted to keep that air conditioner.
Yeah?
And he said, yeah. And he said, maybe she lived somewhere hot. And I said, well, yeah, you know, this was in Florida. And he said, well, it's important to keep cool. Not
to lose your cool.
So for me, that was the best part of the story.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Also, I need my air conditioning. Like, I feel like I'd be the one to shoot somebody over an air conditioner. Well, not for anything else in the whole world, except maybe like hurting my kids or taking my AC.
And as we have discussed, this is one of the many, many reasons I can never own a gun, because I would definitely shoot somebody in the balls if they tried to take my air conditioner.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I would. Shoot somebody over air conditioning. I mean, you can feel it in my house right now. We all kind of need to be wearing coats and socks. And it's like supposed to be 92 out there today.
Yeah, well, we don't have air conditioning, so I'm pretty excited about how cold it is in here.
This is how I prefer. Like, it needs to be a little cooler than this for me to sleep. I love it to be cold. So the winter should be good. I should be right on track for that.
There's a fine line, though, at which point it's just too cold.
Just too cold,
Just
yes.
too cold.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for me?
All right. I have another one that is like my last couple where it's like, no, that never happened. This one is a little less like that. It's really the ending where you're like, really? Like, why would you do that? Okay. So, also, I am just so sorry about all of the names and places and everything else that's about to happen in this story. Actually, there's only one name. So, he's a serial killer. My guy.
Yes.
All right. And he's actually like, the way he kills people is very interesting. But he's also sort of famous because he is known as the first serial killer in Portugal and also the last man or the last person to be hanged in Portugal for a crime.
Those are a couple of real big titles.
Neither of them are true. Yeah.
Man, that is just disappointing.
Right? He was going to have both of those, like, no. So there was a woman serial killer before him who killed something like 21 infants. Foundlings, now that we have that word.
I don't want to go all girl power here, but...
Yeah, I know, right? I'm a little torn about that one.
Right.
And at least 6 people were hanged after him. So I don't know how he got to be the last person. Like, I can understand overlooking the woman and calling him the first serial killer of Portugal. Also, not so much, I'm sure, first serial killer of Portugal, probably just the first one they caught and named a serial killer.
Right.
Like, probably people were killing people before this.
Right. But, like, so the hanging thing, like, that's one of my pet peeves. Don't lie about something that is so easily verified.
Right?
If I can do a quick search and figure it out, like, don't.
Yeah. Well, and so I read several articles that were like, so it says he's the first serial killer and the last to be hanged, but we know he's not the first serial killer because there's this lesser known woman, blah, 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 who smothered a bunch of babies, which is a terrible phrase to say. I'd like to never say that again. But then only one of them that I was reading was like, and here's the list of people that were hanged after him, so obviously he's not that either. Okay, so back to Diogo Alves, who is our serial killer.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was one of the easier ones. No. So he was born in Galicia in 1810, and he moved to Lisbon as a young man to serve in houses of rich people. So he was basically just a servant for hire. But it was work. And he wasn't a big fan. And it didn't pay enough.
I get that.
Yeah, no, right? And it didn't pay enough. So, like, a shitty deal. So instead, he realized that a life of crime was less work and paid better. So from 1836 to 1839, he moved his place of employment to, oh God, I don't even want to say it. It's going to be so bad. Aqueduto das Aguas Livres. I don't know. It is the Aqueduct of Free Waters, which is this amazingly huge aqueduct. It is about 1 kilometer long, so it's about 0.62 miles.
Wow.
And it spans the Alcantara Valley.
Wow.
Yes.
That is also kind of an amazing name.
Yeah.
The Aqueduct of Free Water.
Right.
That's really lovely.
Right? Well, bad things happened there.
Oh, man.
So let's ruin it for you. So here's what Alves decided was his new employment venture. He would wait on this bridge because it had a lot of foot traffic. Usually it was farmers that were going from one side to the other into the city to sell like their fruits and their vegetables and all the things that they farmed. And they were very poor, and that's why they were walking across the aqueduct to go sell stuff in the city. But he would wait until nightfall when these poor farmers were walking back with the cash that they had made from selling their wares in the city, and then he would rob them.
Oh, man, that's a dick move.
And then he would push them off the aqueduct into the valley.
So he's both a robber and, like, a poor steward of the environment.
Well, yes. Also a serial killer.
I mean, that, too.
I don't know. Maybe there were, like, do they have coyotes in Portugal? They were real happy about there were hyenas. Probably not hyenas.
Probably not hyenas.
But that's what in the Lion King, that's hyenas in valleys eating things.
I don't know how to break this to you, but I think there may have been some factual inaccuracies in the Lion King.
You know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Lions totally talk.
Well, yeah.
And sing songs with warthogs and meerkats.
That was not the point I was referring to.
So he did this for 3 years, from 1836, not even 1986. Oh my God. 1836 to 1839. Over 70 times. Yeah.
Wow.
He killed a lot of people.
So
almost
many
entirely poor farmers. Like, that was pretty much who he killed. So apparently there were a lot of poor farmers.
Well, and were they not talking?
Well, what happened was initially they thought that it was suicides and copycat suicides. So my guess is they didn't do a very good job of tracking how many people like disappeared in this way, right? Because you'd have to find the body and know like who they were and everything. And so
or just have them not show up to.
Yeah, but if they just don't show up, they could have disappeared anywhere along that route.
Yeah.
Or gone to the city and not returned home and like done something else, but in order for them to think that it was, could it be a suicide or a murder, they would have to actually find the person, which I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they found them all.
Yeah. Well, like we've talked about before, it was so much easier to just disappear, to just leave the house one day
and
never come back, and nobody would ever know.
Right.
Did they peace out? Did they get thrown off the aqueduct?
Right. Did an animal get them? Did they get lost? Did they decide to stay in town for a few more days? Did they, whatever.
I get nervous when Jeff's gone for an hour longer than I think he's going to be.
Right? He surely has died in a car accident. Like, that is definitely the only thing that could have happened.
Being held by Shiv Point at Target, like, who knows?
Does that happen often here?
Not at our Target.
Oh, okay. All right. What about our Target? No, we're real safe.
You are more safe than we are.
We're good. Yeah. So yeah, at first they thought it was suicides and copycat suicides, and they even closed the bridge for a while. And one of the reasons that they didn't suspect murder right away, other than probably they didn't find everybody right away, was because who on earth would only target poor farmers? Like, no serial killer would do that. What are they gaining from that?
Right.
That's exactly what he was doing. But even that was it was a little too much work and not making him enough money. So he formed a gang, and they went on to target like residences, so breaking and entering and all this. Well, one day the gang robbed, and murdered an entire family. It was a physician's family, and they got caught. And then he was sentenced to hang. Not the last person sentenced to hang.
Like the 9th last person.
Right. He was near the end. So that, is not terribly remarkable, the trial and all that. They were like, dude, you killed a whole bunch of people. Like, obviously you have to die.
And was he like, yeah, I did?
I don't actually even have any information about that, but I assume that, like, I mean, he killed over 70 people.
Right.
It's yeah. So that was not very remarkable. They hanged him. What was remarkable is right around the time of his death, phrenology was a big thing, right? With the whole like touching your head and your skull shape and divots and whatever tells your story. And they wanted to know if they could study his skull and find out what makes a person so evil. Like, he's just absolutely no regard for life whatsoever. Because so can we study this? So to do so, this research group got permission to decapitate him and keep his head. And so they preserved it in a jar, and it is still there. It has been over 170 years. And it is at the University of Lisbon Faculty of Medicine, which I feel like faculty is a mistranslation because that doesn't really make sense, but it is a medical college. And it's still there. Cool. And I've seen photos, and it is insanely, it looks like a pickle jar with a human head, but like all of his hair is still intact, and his eyes are open, and they're not like glazed over. Like, it looks like it can't be real. It looks like some dude is pretending to have his head in a jar. Oh, wow. And other than the fact that it's all yellow and he's super, super pale, he just looks like I have just cut off his head and stuck it in this jar, not almost 200 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, that is Diogo Alves and his real creepy head in a jar.
Wow.
There are plenty of people who, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who have done very similar things too, but when you think of serial killers, like, it's never as casual as give me your money and then just shove them over the edge of the...
Right. There's just no...
Because he wasn't getting anything out of the killing. It was just...
Right. It was just disposing of evidence. Yeah. Like, it's almost not... Like, when you look at... Oh, man, we're about to learn shit. But when you look at the definition of the serial killer, where there's, like, the escalation period and cooling off, and, like, he meets none of the criteria other than he just killed a boatload of people.
A ton of people. That's a lot of people, too.
That is going to fuck up your aqueduct.
Yeah, no, definitely. And over only 3 years, that was a major, I don't know enough about like serial killer, spree killer. I'm sure it doesn't count as spree killing, but it almost feels like that, right? Like, it's so many in such a short time. That's
and just
not every week, but
right, but
every other week,
and no interest in the bodies. Like, he's not a process killer. He's not a product killer. He is purely for gain. Yeah. Take the money, shove them over, done, get rid of evidence. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And got away with it. That's not even how he got caught. He killed all of those people without getting caught.
I just can't believe that around, 30 or 40, that people haven't started talking and been like, it seems like people are going to town and not coming back.
A lot. Yeah.
Like, a few you excuse. They ran off. They got hurt.
Something happened.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Right. Well, and they even closed the bridge. Like, they recognized there was this pattern of people no longer being on top of the aqueduct.
Right.
And they were like, oh, I guess everybody, somebody killed themselves, and everybody else was like, that's a real good idea. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if they were asking people in town, like, hey, this guy didn't come home. Did he make it to town? Did he sell his shit? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Good. Like,
right. Okay. Step one. Check. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's so many people.
It is so many people. And I don't know enough about the geography. Like, maybe these people were traveling not from the same couple of small towns, but like from far and wide. And there were lots of opportunities for them to go missing, and nobody cared, or I don't know.
Well, and they didn't have, like, their police stations weren't hooked together via the internet to see a pattern of crime.
Right. Well, and I mean, how many days as a poor farmer's wife do you wait before you try to go get help? And then do you go to someone official in the 1800s, or do you like ask your neighbors and then mourn the loss of your husband? And
was there somebody official if it was a more rural area?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe there wasn't so much.
Right. It was just the people on the other side in the city that were like, hey, we keep having to dig up these bodies out of the valley. And Yep.
Oh, man.
Right? I just could not get over the photos of this dude. He's just looking at you like he could open his mouth and have a conversation. It is insane. And I don't know what you have to do to preserve a head, but they did it right.
Alcohol.
I guess, but it doesn't need anything else to not like come apart or change colors or wither, or I just feel like there should be more to it than just putting it in some preserving liquid.
I don't know. I mean, I think you have to top it off every once in a while.
Well, especially in 200 years.
Right. I mean, even
Several
if it's
times.
sealed, there's going to be
Yeah.
evaporation but yeah, the discoloring, like they knew something.
Or like skin is not meant to be wet all the time. Even with something like alcohol, wouldn't it sort of slough off?
I don't know.
Apparently not. This dude is very, very well preserved. Yeah. Also, it's weird to me that he's still there. That at no point were we like, actually, it's really not cool to have this guy's head. Like, we should bury it
but
or
there
something.
Are so many things like that. I mean, I can't remember the guy, but he's still at a medical school. He died a couple hundred years ago, and his wish was to be stuffed and preserved and still be at the medical school. He's still there.
Yeah, see, that's just weird to me.
And then there's the whole Mutter Museum.
I know. But it's just...
And like saints' relics and the
Yeah.
incorruptible corpses and...
Yeah.
You're not going to go to the
just
Mutter
weird.
Museum with me, are you?
I don't know. I have to steel myself for that one.
Yeah.
I feel better about being locked in solitary confinement at Alcatraz than I feel about...
Well, that you can't be locked in solitary at Alcatraz. The locks are all disabled. All you can do is go in and close the door.
Okay, but still, I feel better about that.
So this one is breaking news.
Okay. Even more breaking news than the last one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't know if she listens, but I have to send a hat tip out to Allison in the 2018 Celebrity Death Pool for this one.
Okay.
You know who you are.
Okay.
On June 28th of this year, the Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office received a call at 3:16 a.m. from a woman in Newburgh, Wisconsin, saying that she'd heard what sounded to her like a traffic crash, but then she looked out her window and saw a vehicle lodged in the side of her neighbor's house at about 15 feet off the ground. Look at that picture.
Oh my God, it's not even lodged like head on. It's like wheels into the side of the house.
We'll make this the episode picture. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I thought my dude's head was going to be the episode
We're
picture.
going to have to do a half and half. Like, they're both so good.
Amazing.
Yeah. So when police arrived, they found Alva P. Richards, who was 35, still in the driver's seat.
Well, how would you get out?
How did you fucking do that?
I don't know. And it's like almost looks like an installation.
Yeah, no, it
not.
looks fake. It looks
does.
fake. So he's still in the driver's seat. He appeared to be disoriented and under the influence of an intoxicating substance.
Yeah.
He
That makes cars fly.
Right. He eventually tumbled out of the minivan, falling 15 feet to the ground.
Yikes.
Before being taken to the hospital, Richards told police that he smokes marijuana every day, but couldn't remember when he last smoked it, but he had definitely smoked a bowl earlier in the day.
We just don't know what time.
We don't know.
A little disoriented.
Yep. He also has a seizure disorder for which he self-medicates by taking CBD gummies that he orders from Florida.
Nice.
Do we need to explain?
CBD?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what it is, but you can go for it. It's oil made from cannabis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But it doesn't have THC in it.
right. So when you're looking at the marijuana, they're kind of the two main ingredients. The THC is what makes you high,
Right.
and the CBD is what has the like anti-inflammatory properties.
Like the medical part.
Right.
almost.
So like here in Minnesota, medical marijuana is only CBD.
Gotcha.
You can get it in a
Virginia,
variety of
you
forms.
can order it too. You can get it in like a lotion or a
No.
oil or.
I got CBD bath bombs for my birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
They're pretty great. Anywho, so he orders these gummies from Florida, and in the minivan, police found some more weed and a grinder.
Yeah.
He was arrested.
Yes.
He had a hearing later that day where he was charged with second-degree recklessly endangering safety and possession of marijuana, comma, second offense. The district attorney requested a $1,000 bail, but the judge set it at $5,000 and ordered Richards not to operate a motor vehicle or consume controlled substances. I'm going to go ahead and guess he ignored the shit out of those two things.
Probably. Well, I don't know. He doesn't have a car anymore, so he might have been okay with
that's
that.
True. He posted bail the same day. Second-degree recklessly endangering safety is punishable by a maximum 5 years in prison and 5 years of extended supervision. Possession of marijuana is punishable by a maximum 1.5 years in prison and 2 years of extended supervision.
Those are really light sentences for that amount of destruction and endangering that I feel like he did.
I kind of feel like it was maybe not second-degree recklessly endangering safety.
No, I feel like, I don't know.
When the story, so this was in a local newspaper, and I did not write down what the newspaper was. But
yeah, we don't do that here. Citing sources, and
right?
all that kind of
but
stuff.
So Allison and the group lives in this location, and this is her local newspaper.
I gotcha. Wow.
Yeah. So trial pending and whatnot. I
cannot get over that picture.
Yeah. Well, I did do a search to see if there was like a news story or any other interviews or anything.
Right.
And there's nothing. When I Googled his name, I did find out that he is apparently a junior, which is a bummer. Because did you notice his first name is Alpha, which is kind of a terrible name.
Yeah. I feel like that's sometimes what people with terrible names do, though. They're
yeah,
like, I had to live with it, so
now you do.
It is unique, and now it is also your name.
Right. But the only other thing I could find on him was the first charge for marijuana possession.
There you go.
Which was like 9 years ago.
Oh, he did. He had a good long run there of not getting caught. So, awesome stories. I know you have a whole closing bit, but I wanted, did you write in there about, or are you going to tell us about Patreon and like all the new tiers and everything? Okay, I'm excited.
Oh, I should have written down the new tiers.
Oh, well, it's okay.
Okay. So we have got a few people to thank.
Ooh.
We have just redone all of our Patreon tiers. So you should definitely go check that out. If you support us at any level as a patron, all patrons get a monthly shout out on the show.
Woo!
So our patrons for June are M, Michael, Molly, Peg, Patty, Brian, Jonathan, and Eric.
Woohoo!
I realized that we never asked people if we could use their last names, so I didn't. Hopefully y'all know who you are.
Yay!
Thank you. If you would also like to receive a monthly shout out, please visit our Patreon page. You can do so by going to patreon.com/crimecrazypod or search for Crime Crazy Podcast. We also do shout outs for reviews. So if you would like to receive an additional shout out, please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast catcher of choice. We do give shout outs for all reviews, but we like the 5-star ones the best.
It's true.
And we haven't had any recent ones since I've joined. So please go in and tell people whether you are liking this, because if you are not, then Erin is going to have to find a new co-host and I will be sad.
Oh, no, we'll just keep going.
And then it will just be us.
Right? We'll be the only ones listening. It's cool.
Absolutely. You can follow Crime Crazy on all the social medias. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/crimecrazypod. From there, catch up on the conversation by joining the Crime Crazy group. You can follow us on Twitter at Crime Crazy Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Crime Crazy Pod. You can visit our website at crimecrazypodcast.com or email us at crimecrazypodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Diana_Seacon.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Erin Plime.
You can follow me on Instagram at classy_broad_MSP.
And you can follow me at ePlime, if you can spell it.
So visit our Facebook page, find out how to spell our last names,
there you
and
go.
follow us there.
I wanted to say something about the Twitter thing, too. So Brian is amazing, and he is also my co-host on Shortlisted, which we are going to start recording again next week.
Also a patron.
Also a patron. He also does the sweetest thing. Every time we have an episode come out and he listens to it, he tweets that he's listening to it, which is an amazing way to just share and get the word out to more people. And it's I assume it's super easy, but it's so nice. So if you like our podcast and you wanted to share it with other people, that is a great way to just sort of pass along. Here is something cool in my life.
That is really lovely. Thank you, Brian.
Nice? He's such a great guy.
It sounds like it.
Someday we'll have to actually meet him.
Yes, we should get on that.
He does live in Florida. And as we discuss almost weekly, there are a lot of strange crimes in Florida.
Also,
Florida. It's hot.
So hot.
And crocodigators.
Swampy. Mm-hmm. So, Brian, we live, in theory, at a major airline hub.
This is true.
You should come visit us.
You should come up here where it's nice and cool. Well, not today.
No.
Today it is 92 degrees.
It will be nice and cool in October, briefly, before it snows again.
She does so much to encourage me now that I'm already here.
You signed a lease.
So, Diana, do you have any advice for us this week?
I do.
I'm ready.
So, number one, if you are going to have both a stun gun and a gun on your person, like, don't just pop them in your pocket. Have actual appropriate, like a belt. Like, what is the thing that you carry guns and stuff in?
Holster?
Sure.
Then they won't fall out onto the floor?
Right. Like, have some goddamn common sense about it.
I feel like better advice might be it's an air conditioner that you were trying to sell on Facebook.
Maybe he was trying to sell it on Facebook.
Either way,
it's an air conditioner. Home Depot exists. You can get more.
right? For the cost of that stun gun, you could have probably bought an air conditioner.
You know, that is not terrible. That's probably totally true.
Right? No, I think it is.
Especially the pink stun gun. You know they always upcharge for that pink stuff.
It's true. So actually, that should be the advice. Don't buy the pink stuff.
Don't buy the pink stuff. You guys.
It works just as well if it's not pink and you can hide it better.
Also, most of those organizations give absolutely no money to research into breast cancer. It's just to raise awareness of breast cancer. And guess what? You're aware now.
Yes, we know. We saw it on the shelf. We know.
Yes.
Well, and then I also always see pink stuff at like Home Depot and stuff, and it doesn't even say anything about breast cancer. It is just pink.
Right.
So that you can have something that's pink.
Right.
Like,
so you can have
I
your
don't
girly
care.
tools.
Right.
Just
they
use
also
your
make
others.
camouflage tools, which seems like a remarkably terrible idea. Because if I'm using tools, especially outdoors, I'm totally going to lose that shit. Don't paint it camouflage.
I can barely keep an eye on it in the kitchen.
Right. Maybe that's why we should buy pink, actually.
Maybe so it stands out and we can see it. All right, marketers.
All right, we've come full circle.
We have.
All right, second piece of advice.
Don't end up on next week's episode.